Welcome back, everybody. It's been a bit of a break. Happy to be back here. I've missed it. I hope everybody had like a good Christmas and we'll have a good New Year's. Whatever holidays everyone's celebrating, and even if you're not really celebrating holidays where you are, hopefully everything's been going all right. I feel like there's been a lot of good energy sort of coming in just today, and which has actually been like a massive relief. So I don't know what, like, the reading we're going to be doing today is like the next 3 months, and I feel like I've had such a big break while there's been some kind of crazy energy, and I just wanted to make sure that when we come back we were like starting off on a clean slate, and the reading wasn't going to be interfered with and whatnot. So we're back. I'm super excited. We have 3 piles to choose from for what will the next 3 months look like, or maybe things that will come up over the next 3 months. We have group 1 with the clear quartz. What's that? We have group 2 with the smoky quartz heart. It's got like some rainbow inclusions in it, or windows. I don't know what you call them. Refractions? Yeah. And we have group 3 with the citrine. Cool. So you can take a moment to choose your pile. Use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead. Don't force anything to fit. Only take what resonates and use your discernment, and hopefully you'll get something out of it or enjoy it. Okay, welcome group 1. If you chose the clear quartz crystal, then this is your reading for today for the next, well, I guess what will the next 3 months look like? So this is a timeless reading, so it should be relevant regardless of when you find it. The first thing I want to say is for this group, that's a really graphic card, so we're just going to keep that upside down. For this group, music will be like really helpful for like a shift in vibration and energy. I think it'll probably help this group navigate processing emotions, but more than anything, it'll just help you help bump you out of it when, like, without even really trying or putting too much work into it. Oh, this is cool. This is good. I feel like I have to tell you, group 1, leading up to doing this morning's reading, because I didn't know if I was going to get to do it or not, but there's been an influx of really good energy come through. And it was like I started connecting before I even knew I was going to be able to like get the time alone to actually sit down and do the reading uninterrupted. I'm hoping it stays uninterrupted. Anyway, and it's like I felt everyone's energy flooding in, and it was like just like the roller coaster of emotions that like people have been experiencing in between now and sort of when we did the last reading. And it was kind of a crazy feeling. But the good news is that it felt like lots of good energy coming through, like definitely a change in pace from what we'd been experiencing the last few months, so or longer. Yeah. Okay, so the first, what we might do, yeah, I feel like that will be right. Okay, so the first card that we have is grief. It's like 3 of Swords, lots of pain, just lots and lots of pain, like lots of hurt, lots of sorrow. There could have been like a really significant heartbreak, even if it wasn't just like a one-off thing. Like you might not have just gone through like I don't know, maybe you're going through like a breakup or whatever it is that's happened, but it's like you'd still been processing, or you'd still been in that that hurt place for like that processing point for like months on end kind of thing. Maybe not for months on end, everyone will be a little bit differently, but it's like that ongoing processing was still happening. And so it feels like that's where maybe you're either, with this group, I feel like people will be starting at different points. So for some people, they'll still be kind of in that. For other people, they'll have just come out of that. It's kind of like people are in a mix of like being on the precipice of like coming out of that, which makes sense with all that good energy coming through. And after that, we have like really crisp, clean, clear, clarifying energy. It wouldn't surprise me if some of you start to have more capacity, or even if you don't feel like you have more capacity in general, like you might still, for some of you, could have like impatience with certain scenarios, maybe more impatience than what you typically would have. For others of you, could weirdly have more patience because you have like more of that clarity coming in, and everything seems a lot more clear cut, so it's easier to understand. There's like almost less mental processing around whatever you're experiencing. So, but it definitely seems like an upswing in energy. I actually have a card out of a different deck. I'll see if I can pull it out because it seems really important. It seems kind of significant for this group. And it actually is called like or says upswing in energy. And it's like right on point. It's right on theme with like what I was saying before about that influx of like really good energy coming through. So anyway, on that note, it's like, I think that we should definitely, if you can, try to like make the most of the present moment. Oh wow, the present, that's cool. We'll leave that out. I feel like that's definitely part of the reading. Yeah, okay. I'm trying not to get too off track here and just keep the message coming through as it does. It's like the only thing, sometimes it comes through so quick it's hard to keep up with, but no, we don't need that. Okay, so it's like this clarity that comes through gives you like the room to be able to look back at your previous situation, not in a sense of like dwelling on it, but actually in a sense of like you have the ability. Don't tell me I've gone past it. It's like you're not going to be dwelling in it. You're actually going to have the ability to look back and learn from what's happened, which I don't feel is something that this group, most of you have probably had, because you've been so bogged down in the thick of everything that's happening. I feel like for some of you, it's just like the waves kept coming in and knocking you over. So lots of like water analogies today. Weightlessness, that's still not the card I'm looking for, but it's closer. Don't tell me. Wave of power. Oh, okay, so it's not actually called upswing in energy, but it's, oh wow, a wave of power. And we were just talking about the waves. It actually says a surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarating movement, and wave of power. Yeah, so it's actually really funny because the whole time this morning, I was kind of getting this feeling that I haven't felt for a long time, and it might resonate for some of you because it seems to be important. They want me to kind of bring it up. When I was younger, I didn't realize that I was kind of more sensitive to energy or attuned to it. I was just kind of tapped into things without realizing. And sometimes, I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know if it's necessarily an energetic thing. I just think that I felt it probably more intensely because of the energy sensitivity. But, you know, sometimes if you're on the precipice of like having fun, maybe you are having fun, or you're like on an adventure, or you're doing something different, or you're just having a really good time, and there's kind of, I don't know how to really explain it. In essence, it's kind of like if you were to surf and catch a wave, and it's so funny that this analogy is even coming through because I have a friend who's learning how to surf at the moment too. So if you're here in group 1, kudos. Anyway, with the waves, if you're not going fast enough when the wave is like coming up, like to meet you, then you won't catch the wave. And I was like very aware. I'm sure that there's a particular word for it, and I'll look into it afterwards, after the reading, and I'll see if I can find it. If I can find it, I'll link it in the timestamp. If I don't get around to it, I would love it if anyone knows what I'm talking about to let us know, or like share in the comments. Where it's kind of, you're like riding the wave, or like riding the precipice of like the energy. It's like the inertia or the momentum that you have. You've got to like keep it up, but there's like a sweet point. It's like, if you can maintain the momentum for that sweet point, it's like exhilarating. It's like a total, I don't know what it is. There's the ability to ride the wave of like the good energy anyway. So I feel like if that should be enough so that everyone can kind of get the gist of what I'm saying, and I'll leave it up to spirit to bring in more if there's something that I've missed. I was just getting something about the number 3 being significant, so I'm not sure. That would be something that you would maybe hopefully be aware of. If it doesn't resonate, just leave it. So moving on. Okay, so it's like you would now have the clarity to look back at like the old situations that have happened, or maybe like some of that hurt that you'd experienced, whether it's like a case of where it come from or how it come about or what you experienced during that time. Might have been pretty heavy themes, I'm not really sure. But you'll have a lot more clarity on your situation. Like, I feel like you'd definitely be like a lot wiser for it. But there's kind of like respite, like the searching for like, I don't know, the way I can explain it, that it's coming through, is like searching for new lands, maybe a new home, a new situation, or just like a reprieve, like a respite, a safe haven or something like that. But when you're going there, it's like you have that ability to know that what you're looking at is safe and that it is like a respite because of your previous situations. It's like you have that knowledge now. It's kind of like, I don't think you could, you know, no matter what situations you find yourself in the future, I feel like you know more now. You know, yeah, you can help yourself more now than you probably have been able to. And I was just kind of like getting that whole 8 of Swords analogy where like, you know, kind of seeing the finally being able to like take the blindfold off. But like the girl that I'm seeing in my mind, it's like, yeah, she's sitting in the Circle of Swords, but she's almost like shakily, like she's unsure. She's kind of starting to peel the blindfold off, and she's like taking that breath and just sitting in that moment and taking it in. And I feel like it could feel like a lot for you, I'm not sure, but for others of you, it's probably really liberating. Like it could be that point, it's like a tipping point, like a fulcrum point or a seesaw point, like a balancing point where it's like, I don't know, there's lots of like you know, I don't know what the terms are, like almost like engineering, like descriptive type situations coming out here. It's a bit weird. Anyway, the balancing point. So I don't know. Is there anything else? Yeah, it's just like a balancing between the like, oh, this is a little bit like nerve-wracking doing this again for the first time, or like whether it's again or for the first time, different for different people. But even if it is not the first time that you've been in this position, it's maybe the first time in like a long time, so it still kind of feels like the first time. For this group, the Caribbean calcite could be a good one to work with as well. It's definitely one of my favorite crystals, and it seems to come up a lot. I should note for some of the people in this group, because there'll be different people experiencing different energies and needing different things. Sometimes I find that it depends on your energy, right? And it's not one energy is better than another, or you know, wrong or right or anything like that. There's no judgment. It just is where we're at. But sometimes I feel like the blue, if what is it, it can help us really embody our emotions more. and kind of be with them. And then the more sandy color side can be more calming and grounding. But, you know, different people might experience the different types of crystals in different ways as well. So don't let me cap your experience, but okay. Anyway, where are we up to? 6, 2, 6. It's quite a lot of like air in this group. 3, 9, 10, yeah. Air and water, yeah, okay. So anyway, so it's like this group will go to like new situations or new places, new pastures, like greener pastures. I don't know. Maybe for some of you, it's just like going to a place where you actually finally receive that respite or reprieve. And when you get there, you find, I'm not sure if you manage to feel full up on love on yourself. To me, it's specifically like we have the Two of Cups and the Lovers. It's like a person comes in who you're able to finally feel like maybe you could be ready for a relationship. And for those of you who are already in a relationship, this could have signified like the ending of a relationship and then sort of having that time in between to process everything and, you know, start again and kind of find like a new person coming in. For some of you, there is like a small group of people in group 1 that you might actually not have a relationship ending at all. I feel like if you're part of like a breakup, it would already happen or be happening or be like in the next couple of days. If it hasn't already happened now, I would say that it's maybe not, oh, I just got it, you're not probably for this group. I was going to say it's probably going through like, you know, some tough spots and then like coming out on top. But no, they're saying group 1 will maybe not be your pile. So maybe feel free, see how you feel. If you already got like that intuitive nudge that there's something for you in this group, feel free to keep listening. But otherwise, maybe you could try group 2 or 3 and see if there's something in either like a message in those groups that actually resonates more for you. Okay, so back to this. So it's like we find ourselves in a position of letting someone in, letting love in, already loving ourselves. And I feel like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like we loved, part of the reason why this is working or going to be okay or is going to be good is because we loved ourselves enough to leave that old situation. I kind of get the stance here of like some people saying, no, that's not okay, and being sad and walking away from something, or like, yeah, I'm not really sure what that is. That could be different for everyone. Maybe for some of you, it wasn't really walking away from something, but just knowing in your heart, like either having more clarity or knowing that you like deserve better or something like that. Or maybe you don't even feel like that. Maybe you don't even feel like it's about self-worth at all. Maybe you were just like, I'm no longer willing to accept this and this is what I am okay with. And it's like, because you've been able to do that, you've kind of been able to take better care of yourself, and in turn, you know, puts you in a place to be like to receive more, because you're not letting people in that will be taking without, yeah, it seems reciprocal, but it also seems like companionship as well. It seems more longer term. I don't know. I don't actually have time frames here or anything, but yeah. Okay, so before I feel like I want to pull a timing card or something. Before I actually set up the camera and started pulling cards, I did I was like clearing my desk of all the cards that were here, and I had a February card pop out, and we do have like the number 2 for the love, and February would be like the second month in the calendar year. So I wonder for some of you if it's actually something coming in around February, but that might just be, I don't know, it feels like a decent amount of people, but it's still probably not quite half of the people in the group. Anyway, and then for those of you who, you know, you find this, because my readings are timeless, maybe you're not watching this as this video comes out, maybe you're watching this, you know, 6 months down the track or whenever it is. I feel like it would just be like 2 months from now, or yeah, basically 2 months. Anyway, could be 2 to 6 months. So yeah. Anyway, and it's like maybe you meet this person and you can kind of like, you might take a liking to each other straight away, or you might come together pretty quickly or something. There doesn't seem like a lot of time in between the respite and this person coming in. So for some of you, I wonder if like you leaving whatever situation you were in allows room. You know, it's kind of like that when you declutter things out of your life that are not meant to be there, or they're taking up space or something like that, then we can allow room for better things to come in, or to be in more of a receiving energy for it. So, and then it's like, it seems like maybe between like, I want to say February and June, or between 2 to 6 months, it's like the meeting each other or getting together to kind of becoming official or settled or more serious or something like that. And it does, yeah, it does seem longer term. Yeah. Okay, anyway. And then it's like the overarching energy is like underlying or overarching. Same thing. Okay. So it's like the key will be staying in the present and realizing that the present moment is a gift or treasure. Sometimes allows us to have a revelation of our own value and staying in the nowness. Sometimes I want to say, like, I understand it can be really hard to stay in the present moment, especially when our circumstances can be pretty dire. So I feel like, you know, a lot of you might still live in like a lot of distraction, or you might just not have that ability. I don't know. Some of you might have such like demanding schedules that it's like hard for you to stop and take some downtime, or you might not get a lot of alone time. Whatever that situation looks like, it's just like, don't be so strict with yourself that you make it impossible. We want to keep it achievable. If it's easier for you to set like a lower commitment to be able to more easily or regularly achieve that little bit of present time, that's what you do. You just find a way to make it work. More often is better than not. And yeah, you just, yeah, anyway, you guys can work that out. But I want to tell you that it's like, even what I kind of see here with this card is like, even though the depths can be really dark, when we're present, it allows the light to actually come through and illuminate things for us, and it starts to give us that clarity, and we start to be able to come out of the shadow. It starts to help lift us up a lot. Yeah. I think it kind of gives us things as well that we're not always so aware of. Sometimes just being present is the gift, and then other times being present gives us a gift. Okay, and then we have repletion. So it's like, I think this whole scenario is going to be like really healing for you. It might help bring you back to life. Some of you might have been experiencing like an extreme burnout. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't burnout. Maybe it was just like the hurt or the grief or whatever it was. Some of you might have been feeling really empty. Maybe some of you were like kind of numb or hardened to a situation, and this is going to come in and allow for some new life to come in, or allow you, I don't know. For some of you, it might be happiness. It might be fulfillment. It might just be, it just seems like a nice, I don't know. I don't even want to say nice, because I'm sure there are still moments that are tumultuous, but it seems good, right? It's like, I feel like I can take a breath and I can sit up straight, and I can like allow my heart chakra to just open on its own. I don't need to keep it closed off. I don't need to protect it. I don't need to hide it. I don't need to do anything to shield it. I'm allowing it to be open and be vulnerable and be strong and allow it to feel and process things. And it's like, by having that active open heart chakra, it'll help us be more present. It'll help us stay in the present. It'll help us process more that we probably haven't been able to process for a while. it'll definitely help us embrace, like, you know, like any new relationships or new, you know, maybe not for all of you, it's not necessarily like, you know, long-term romantic relationships. I'm sure there's like a small portion of you where it's just like a really good friend that comes in that feels like just like the ultimate soulmate. You know, there could be some Geminis in there, I'm not really sure, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, I don't know. I feel like it's mostly like air. Maybe they might not have those sun sign placements, but they might have like predominant placements in other areas of their chart. But it doesn't matter. It just feels, do you know what? It might not even be about those like placements. It might just be that like friendly nature. Yeah. Friendly, sociable, wanting the companionship. But then like with that Cancer element there as well, like the depth of the companionship and the being together, the spending quality time kind of thing. It's really nice. It's feels kind of wholesome. Yeah. Feels like for some of you found a really good friend, even if it's like a good friend in a relationship. Yeah. Okay. What do we have next? So are we finished? No. Something about the repletion here. So I feel like yeah, like the life will be let back in. I've missed something here. Let's see if I can pull out what it is. They're just saying like if you do, like when you start to have your heart chakra open up, because I feel like for some of you, if it isn't opened already on its own, it will start opening up. It might be a little bit intense at times, and they're just saying to just sit with it or process it. For some of you, that might be where the music comes in, and it might be helpful. For others of you, it will be helpful for you to like sit in a body of water, whatever that looks like for you. I just want to show you this card because I feel like the images are like so well done. I don't know why it's, yeah. Okay. This group could also be like quite a visual group or something, because I feel like I won't show you everything today. All right, and then the wave of power, we kind of talked about that, the upswing in energy and the exhilarating like momentum, all of that. And I don't know, it's like finding that sweet spot and just staying with it, maintaining it. And I think you'll actually find you'll really enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be a lot of work. I don't think it's not going to be exhausting. It's not going to be a chore. It's not going to be, I don't know. I don't think it will be particularly hard. And like, yeah, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But I feel like most of the time, you guys will hit a really good sweet spot and you'll just get better at it and better at it and you'll attune to it. And it's like, for some of you, you might have like, I don't really know as far as, you know, the range of spectrums and, you know, different neurodivergence out there. But for some of you, could have like ADHD, and it could be like a nice healthy time in terms of ADHD, because sometimes stress can really play up with things like that. And so maybe when you get to this point, it's like you're able to enjoy the parts of the ADHD for once, where it's not, doesn't feel like it's dragging you down. It's like you're in this more safer, stable, like almost, I don't know if there's necessarily a lot of routine here. It just seems more solid. It seems more foundational. It seems like you've got more flow. You can kind of just, you've got more choice, or there's not as much impeding. There's not as much restriction. There's not as much like, I don't know if there's not as much responsibility. I feel like responsibility is always there, but whatever it is, it's like more freedom, more freeing, and something about it is like maybe you'll have more freedom to kind of like go happy dopamine hunting or tapping. I don't know. Not trying to like, I don't claim to really know anything about it. It's just something from my own experience. So could be linked, might not be relevant for a lot of people, but there's definitely a small group of people here that it is 100% relevant for. So and I don't know if I did it justice in trying to explain that, so hopefully that makes sense to those that it resonates for. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, also I feel like this time you're going to start to see like the beauty in the things in life that are not always as finite as we thought they were. We're going to start to see the beauty in the nuance. We're going to start to see the beauty, you know, what is it, where it's like life is not necessarily good or bad, and sometimes things can be like, you know, cause us a lot of sadness and hurt and be really terrible circumstances, but we're going to start to see the beauty and the silver lining in the in-between, or we're going to start to see the beauty in the bigger picture, where it's like that character development 5 years down the track, or 10 years down the track, 12 years down the track, whatever that looks like for everyone will be different. I was getting something about Saturn being kind of important for this time, and I struggle to keep up with the astrology stuff. I just have like not enough time to keep up with my own stuff, and I notice I've been feeling a big pull with Saturn, where I have a heavily Saturn dominated chart, and it can be very restrictive. And it can be great for like self-discipline, but it can just like, while it's around, I don't know how to explain it, it can restrict us so much to a point where like we start to restrict ourselves, so that when Saturn releases, we're still kind of in that restrictive energy. So I'm not sure what's happening there. That, I don't know, just take it or leave it. Something about September might be important for some people in this group, but that's outside of the 3 months, and they're not giving me much more about that. So music. So there's like that song called September. I can't remember who sings it, and there was another song that I was getting. No, it's just that September song is taking over. I'll write the name of it and who it's by in the timestamp. So okay, I'm just gonna take maybe one more card out of a different deck, and we'll just see what we get. There we go, bowl. Plenty of material things. For some of you that have had like poor health, I feel like you might just be able to manage it better if it doesn't itself actually improve. I'm thinking and hoping that it does really improve. Yeah. But also it could be like a strong sign to make sure you're eating lots of fruit. And this bowl that the fruit's in almost reminds me of like the really nice, almost Hampton style sometimes, like ceramic pots and things. Might be like a call for you to, like, you might just have lots of material things come in, but it might actually be a call to, like, you know, if there's one thing that you really like and you've got the means to be able to get it, and it's something that you love heaps, instead of doing something where you settle for like 2 or 3 cheaper, smaller versions of that thing that you don't really like as much, and it just kind of takes up extra space around the house, maybe go get that like one thing that you really like. And like I feel like if it was like a ceramic planter or something like that, you know, that's gonna last a long time, years. So maybe it is a bowl for some of you, maybe it's just like decor in general, I don't know. But I think the message is to, when you're looking at the material things, look for like long-lasting, sustainable things that you really enjoy. Some of you, you're just going to get an influx of it, and you're probably not going to get much of a choice, and you just like, just enjoy it while it's there, hey? Yeah. Okay, great one. That's actually everything that I have for you for like what the next 3 months would be looking like. So hopefully that's helpful in some way. I feel like there's plenty of material things is not going to be the focus, but like inevitably might just be some sort of blessing that comes in. I feel like this group has done particularly well with whatever your circumstances are, and that you probably continue to do so. Yeah. Spirit says kudos. All right. Thank you for joining me. I hope everyone's well. Take care, and I'll see you all in another video. Okay, welcome group 2. If you chose the Smoky Quartz Heart, then this will be your reading on what the next 3 months will be like. I was trying to find a light where I don't want the glare to like take away from it too much, but it's really pretty in certain lights. Anyway, hey group 2, I hope you're all doing well. There's way too many. Okay, so the first thing is lithium quartz might be really important for this group. I'll just show you what it looks like. So this could be helpful for, I don't know, I guess it's like lithium quartz is kind of similar to like, you know, it's the mineral lithium. There could be messages there similar to, say, for some of you that might experience mental health concerns. I don't know, maybe depression. I don't know. Okay, I am not qualified in any way, and you know, anything that I say on this channel should never replace like appropriate medical advice or challenge it in any way. You still need to make sure you're taking care of yourself the best of your ability and seeking the appropriate help for it. But it can be, if you're interested in crystals and wanting one to work with for maybe things like BPD, yeah, depression. I don't know about anxiety. I'm not sure about that, but manic stages, I'm not sure. That might be helpful. I don't know if I'd say go out and just buy it, but if it's something that you would like already, like you've been on the lookout for a new crystal or something, then maybe that's a bit of direction that you could go in. Okay. Also, the smoky quartz does help transmute negative energy as well. So this is actually really good pairing. Sometimes I would sit down and meditate with smoky quartz and I would actually feel it would almost like pull energy, stagnant energy out of me. And it does take a while to transmute. Like it's not as quick or as good as a transmuter as, say, like something like selenite is. So if you want to speed it up, you could like pop it with some selenite or cleanse it some other way. Sometimes just like, I don't know, smoky quartz is like, any of the quartz are good ones with water. So you could just like run it under some water and dry it off, and that could help sort of speed it up as well to keep it clear if it's doing a lot of work. But I feel like smoky quartz, as much as it's got a good name for the fact it does that, it's kind of still underrated in what it does. So yeah. Okay, so another thing that I noticed for your energy group too is it started getting really clouded. I felt like I had a lot of opinions or expectations or different thoughts or feelings coming in, and I didn't realize, I just felt really clouded. Like all of a sudden all this stress and anxiety and worry came in, and it was just like everyone having their say. And then I realized, and it's like I was like internalizing it, and at the start I couldn't tell if it was me stressing out or if it was other people kind of like trying to throw their 2 cents in. And then I realized afterwards that there's an enmeshment with the people around you or just other people's energy in general. So maybe they're not in your immediate sphere, maybe they're from, you know, people that you work with, or like you know, if you're in a service or like a business, like you're selling goods or a service or something like that, maybe they're like clients or customers. If you're on a platform, they could be people that are engaging in your platform. They could just be family. They could be people that you have gone out to an event with and you've like had a 2-second small talk chat with and moved on from that in life. And so this is definitely a calling for group 2 to do some energy clearing because of the level of enmeshment here. And I do feel like some of you have been working really hard to transmute other people's energy. And so the smoky quartz is going to be great for helping you transmute that. So it's definitely for those of you who this is resonating for. Smoky quartz will be your best friend at the moment and trying to do what you can to keep it clear. So if you already have it, that's fantastic. If you happen to have 2 pieces, even better, because I would, you know, recommend that you're like cleansing one to keep it kind of spiffy clean while you're using the other, so that you can be switching them out, so that you're not, you know, clearing so much. Like, the way that I understand it works, and it could be different for everyone, but for me, the smoky quartz kind of pulls it in and then transmutes it. So it's like, if you're walking around with smoky quartz that's really gunked up, it's the same for others. Like, obsidian's really bad for it, because obsidian almost absorbs all the negative energy, but it doesn't transmute it. Whereas like the smoky, well, at least for me, in my experience, it doesn't. I don't know, maybe for other people they've found different, you know, sometimes like one piece of smoky quartz, like one particular crystal might be better at certain things than others, and it's just, and it might be the exact same type, like 2 pieces of smoky quartz and one's better at something than another. But I don't know, I wouldn't stress too much about it. I wouldn't think too hard into it. But if you've got it and you want something that might be able to help you, then that might be something that you can do. But yeah, smoky quartz would definitely be a good one. Anyway, so that will help you transmute it. And I think it's like you're absorbing it. If there's empaths, that you would be in this group. And for some of you, I feel like, I hesitate to even say this, because for some of you, I feel like you're taking on other people's energy, and by separating out 2 groups here and saying there is a group here, that you're not like accidentally doing it, it's kind of your job in your situation. It would be something, I don't know, I feel like from those people you would definitely know that that's you, that you kind of don't get a choice in the immediate environment or situation at hand, that you just are going to transmute it regardless of what's happening around you. And I don't know if this is, I'm not saying in life, I'm just saying this one-off situation. There's another group here where it's actually not your job or responsibility, and there's no need for you to do it. You should be definitely taking more care of yourself than you are of other people. I don't know if you're overextending yourself here, or there's like, you know, a lack of boundaries that allows that enmeshment or something. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's really hard for you to not feel responsible for those around you, or maybe you feel like you have to manage other people's feelings or something like that. Whatever that is, I kind of like, I hesitate to lay out those 2 different groups there, where there's a group that it's not about, they can't help it, they're not meant to, they are just meant to do the transmuting. But for the group that can transmute it, that can help it, they feel like they can't so deeply that I would hate for you to misconstrue and think that you can't help it and whatnot. So I feel like key ways that you would be able to tell if you are experiencing the enmeshment when it's not your responsibility, and it's like, I'm going to look up the word enmeshment. I'm going to see. There's something that I'm missing, and I even paused between group 1 and group 2 because I had to go stop and do something. I got interrupted, and Spirit told me to look up the word enmeshment before I come back, and I hadn't looked it up. I forgot about it. So here we are, turning on the laptop so that I can actually look it up. Yeah, hopefully. Okay, it might take a minute. Anyway, we'll just keep going while we're here. So, I don't know. I feel like for some of you, you've just been like put through the ringer. And you can see here, she has like a little fence up that she's been building. And she's very weary. But she's also very wise. Like, she's like, can see through people kind of thing. And she holds her own torch. She knows she doesn't necessarily need other people, and she's willing to keep that distance in there to make sure that her boundaries aren't crossed. Yeah, she's making sure she's safe. She's making sure she's looked after, because other people haven't. Yeah, there is a small group of people within group 2. You would know if it's you. There's something about like you're not giving I feel like most of you, there's something here where maybe people are being dismissive or invalidating or something, but it's kind of like, I don't know what it's about. I need to do one thing at a time, and I've turned on the computer and I've got like a different screen coming up that it's a new computer, so just, I don't know. This is like, let's go, task manager. It's really, really frustrating. It's not good timing. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, decline. Continue. This is not what I want. All right. If this is not going to work, we will have to not worry about the enmeshment word, but I feel like it's really important. If I can't get the computer sorted in this time, what I might do is look up the meaning for it, and I'll put it in like the timestamp in the description box, like under the timestamp. That might be the way to go. Next. God, no, well, we're not doing that. This is extremely frustrating. And I feel like this is what it is like for you guys. Like, people are pulling on your energy. You have to have like firm boundaries in, because if you don't, then it just like, I don't know. It literally goes along with it. It's like interference. It's like, I can't even finish one thing and move on to the next without like, you know, something almost going wrong, or other people. Yeah, anyway. So what I was saying before, it's like maybe some people have been really dismissive or invalidating, and I think it's kind of in a respect way. I mean, like, you know, it's I guess it's always like a level of respect. Like, it's kind of pretty disrespectful when people just downplay or ignore things, or it makes them uncomfortable and they don't want to talk about it. I don't know, I guess we you know, you got to be respectful of people's boundaries in that sense, that not everyone's there for all the conversations, but it's another thing to like deny another person's existence or experience. And I feel like I have to be really careful with this group. Like, I have to be really particular, and like I have to be very clear and concise in the way that I word things, because I can't tell, I'm not sure, I don't think that you would necessarily misconstrue what I say on purpose, but I think that maybe some of the things I'm trying to communicate are not very clear, or they're hard to understand, and because of that, it's like I need to make sure it's very clear. So this might take us a while to get through, and I'll just do the best that I can, and that's really all I can do. And outside of that, if you're still struggling with it, there might be certain concepts that you do need to go look into, like enmeshment. But the computer's turned on. I'm just getting like a search engine up and running. I seem to have gotten past the problem that like the pop-up I was experiencing. So now this dismissal, invalidating type thing, it's kind of like, I get the gist here that this group has like a certain type of like wisdom, and people know it, but they're still like, I don't know, I feel like this would be part of the reason why some of you need to have these boundaries in, because people can see this wisdom and they want to come know and ask about things and learn things, because they know that you know. And then they're not like giving you that due respect of, there's some sort of respect where it's like they're coming to you because they don't have the answer themselves. You give them the answer, and then I don't want to say they're not like taking it on, or not, you know, something like that, because it's like freedom of information. We all just make the best decision of what we have at the time. But I feel like these people are either using it to be strategic, or they're kind of, there's something here that's not straightforward. Yeah, okay, so I've got the search engine up, and I Google the word enmeshment, and it says it's a psychological concept that describes a relationship where boundaries are unclear or non-existent, and people are overly close and intertwined. It can occur between family members or in romantic relationships. So it says, I'll just see, like, you guys can do your own looking. Okay, see if this turns up clear enough. Some signs of enmeshment include blurred boundaries, emotional connection where people feel each other's emotions or one person's emotional state affects another, over-involvement, loss of autonomy, and difficulty with change. Yeah, okay. I don't even know what that side is. It's just like what the AI has come up with as like an overview, but it seems pretty clear. It does say enmeshment can negatively impact mental and emotional well-being, especially for children, and it can make it difficult for children to develop independence and be responsible for their choices. And enmeshment is often confused with codependency, which is a dysfunctional pattern of behavior where people prioritize the needs of others over their own. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you or someone in this group. And it might be something that you want to look into, like those themes or topics of codependency or enmeshment, or maybe talk to somebody. I was sort of getting like a guidance counselor, or maybe do some sort of talk therapy with some sort of counselor or psychologist or therapist. I don't know. Someone who has done the study and knows or is experienced with it. I'm not sure. Yeah, and it's kind of like that taking responsibility for ourselves. And like I said with this lady, she's wise. So I think you're wiser than you and other people give you credit for. And she is learning to keep herself safe, right? She's keeping herself very safe, and she's got a lot of boundaries in. Maybe she might even have a little bit too many, but I don't even want to say too many, because I feel like when we're learning, like this group may have gone from like no boundaries to like all the boundaries, and then we might have to just find the happy medium in between over time as we go. Or maybe you need a bit of time for healing, and then as the healing like happens, you might like, or maybe as your situation changes, some of you might be still experiencing really heavy volumes or heavy themes. Yeah, anyway, and you might find that when things settle down, some of those boundaries start to come down. Whatever that looks like for you, it's like you being a sovereign being. You're taking responsibility for it. You're owning it. You're using discernment. You've got really good discernment, by the way. If you thought that you didn't, you do. I feel like you would know that. If this doesn't resonate for you, then this might not be your group. You might be better off trying one of the others. And yeah. So yeah, there's like people here that are not really giving you, I don't know if they're not giving you the credit. I'm not sure if it's about credit. I just feel like there's some type of disrespect, and I wonder if some of them are like using the advice for themselves and not giving back to you, or if they're kind of like almost parroting it and acting like it came from them, or I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. They're using, maybe, some of them are using this advice you give them to like be sneaky or find loopholes in other areas of their life. Not directly with you, because I feel like they're not coming for you. They're turning towards other people, and they like have all these resources now because you are actually quite wise or smart or something. I don't feel like this group is inherently like, malintended or anything like that, but someone's coming in here and playing nice and getting some advice, and then they're like going and using these concepts. They're like kind of testing it, seeing what they can get away with other people, almost weaponizing some of these concepts. I'm not sure. That's the thing with this energy, is it sort of can crop up anywhere, and I'm yet to find a way to kind of stamp it out. The only thing I know is that like when you have boundaries in place, it can kind of stop people doing this stuff to or with you sometimes. So like if these people aren't around, then it can't happen. And sometimes we can walk a fine line between like having people around at all, right? Which I feel like we're not there yet. That's like a future problem. Right now, we just want to make sure our nest is clear. Well, there's like no cuckoos in the nest. There's no fakers, no pretenders, anyway. And then what I would say here, we'll leave that upside down because that seems to be on purpose. What I would say here is that it's creating a stagnancy, whatever's happening. But these boundaries, they definitely are protecting you, because this person here that's kind of like out to see what they can get away with, they're not only are they heading away from you in the opposite direction, but they're also heading in the moonlight. And the moonlight can be like the hidden things, or the things we can't see, or, you know, shadow patterns, like people's subconscious programs sort of playing out their shadow work that they haven't done yet. Yeah. I feel like there is someone here that I can't tell if they try to warn you about them, or if they're trying to call them out, or they're just someone on their side trying to like say things to you to like keep you pushed down. I don't know what it is. Yeah. There's different types of illumination, and I feel like for this group, your inspiration, your hope, your passion, the things that drive you are going to be really important to pull you through to this next part. This other person, I don't think they see clearly. I think they're kind of disillusioned, and it's whatever this enmeshment is definitely very stagnating. And some of you, there is a small group of people in this group where you are this person that's kind of testing these theories out on other people, or weaponizing some of these wiser lessons. Yeah, you will know who you are if that's you. And it's that healthy evolution of, I feel like what goes up must come down, and so it won't always be the way. It might be the way for a while for you, but I think you'll find that you'll get bored and you'll miss out on really good things in life, and you'll miss out on opportunities that you wouldn't have if you didn't. And for those of you that's not you, where you're the person that this is like kind of happening to, I think that your discernment will only grow greater. You'll grow wiser. You'll be able to, I think you'll have such innate trust in your abilities, because they are actually really good. And you develop kind of like a fierce strength. It's kind of like a quiet confidence. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you don't have to use bravado or have a million boundaries or anything like that. You don't have to throw your weight around, because you are really confident in who you are and your ability to like sort things out and see the needle from the haystack and read between the lines and see what's really going on. It's like you've got good eyesight, your wisdom, your ability to pick up on people's sneaky behaviors and things like that. It's actually pretty good. So yeah, it's like a kudos to you from spirit anyway. And then I feel like it's that whole thing of like surrendering to the universe, because you've kind of come out on top of your wand suit, where like you've done the hard yards and you've like progressed to this next level of like wisdom and confidence and everything like that. You're going to take charge. It's kind of like, it's weird because it's like, I don't know, maybe you don't. I feel like wands usually have a really good sense of direction, and for this one, like for this reading, maybe you don't have a great sense of direction for the next 3 months, and you kind of do surrender, or like you're just happy enough to like get to where you are, or you're like too busy dealing with whatever this is, like this transmuting and this enmeshment and the boundaries and the people around you might be doing, some people might be doing these things, and it does help you surrender. And do you know, sometimes like, I don't know, like where I'm growing up, if you don't have a plan, you're perceived as like a no sense of direction, that you're kind of like aimlessly like blowing through life. And it's like the universe is coming through, and I'm here to say that sometimes it's best to surrender to the universe, because otherwise we're fighting like an uphill battle. And I feel like this group knows that you've already done it, you've already experienced it. You know, the maybe part of you, this is your uphill battle, is that between that 9 of Wands and that King of Wands, is like dealing with this sort of shady stuff, or the like, yeah, the boundary, I don't know, all that. Some of you might have people around you that are kind of toxic, and if you don't now, maybe you did for a long time, or they might not be so immediate. Some of them might be more extended. Yeah, I don't know.
But I feel like you ultimately hold the light that guides the way, and you can see in the dark when other people come up, and you can see humanity for what it is. This group is very wise. Yeah, anyway, and so it's like you surrender to the universe, and I think some of you might end up actually like quite exhausted from what's happened, that you kind of like miss out on some of the, I don't know, maybe some of you it's like you're just like, I don't want the like good things because it's like I'm just getting my hopes up, or it's like I've got so much other stagnant stuff that needs to be processed because I'm so exhausted from transmuting everyone else's stuff. But it's like, I think, yeah, I feel like you might be exhausted from the transmuting everything because you've been transmuting so much, but it's like so effortless for you. All right, now I want to say that maybe it's not effortless for you. Maybe it takes a lot out of you, but compared to other people's ability to transmute, you guys are really good at this. You're really wise, you're really good at transmuting, and I think there's something really beautiful about this group, whether you can tell it or not. I think you're all like pretty attractive, and you might not think you're attractive, but there might be something about you other people find really attractive, or you might have specific unique characteristics that are really attractive, but like in just such different ways too. Like, yeah, anyway. And I feel like this surrendering to the universe for this period of time, it gives you like a sense of freedom that you probably haven't experienced for a while, and it'll kind of allow like an upswing in energy. That's like seems to be a bit of a theme today, is like really good energy coming in. So maybe for this group the good energy hasn't come in quite yet, but that's something that you would experience over the next 3 months, is letting things like kind of change. It's like that what comes up must go down, and it's like literally like the, you know, energy coming in one side needs to be transmuted, and it comes out you the other side like clean, revitalized. I don't know, yeah, it's just like ready to go again, full of life. And I feel like this group may feel like you might feel really exhausted by this whole process, and I wonder for some of you how much of it is like the transmuting versus like just the emotional taxing of it, or just the like rigmarole of like feeling like it never ends. Because I feel like some of you might feel really weighed down by it, or really sluggish, but you still have a lot of vigor, and it just, you might not be able to tell while you're going through the thick of it, but once you kind of surrender and then come out the other side of it, that new energy you'll basically be like transmuting yourself, like revitalizing yourself. And yeah, this group, it could also be like a call to work with your chakras. If you, I don't know, I feel like if you're already an empath, we're already talking about transmuting energy quite a lot. We're talking about boundaries and things like that. It wouldn't surprise me if this group already knows a little bit about the chakras. I'm not going to go through and explain what each of them are. It's something that you can look up on a search engine, like on Google or something on the internet yourself, if that's something that you're interested in. But maybe you want to sit with something representative of each chakra and meditate on it, even if it's only for like a couple minutes for each one, or as long as it takes. If you feel like you need to do it for a lot longer, like a half an hour or something, you do that and just sit with whatever comes through. It might help really like clear anything up that is stagnant, and it might help that separation point between you and anything or anyone else hanging around. I did actually also feel called to pick up my orgone before starting this group, because I feel like this will be, my daughter has dropped mine, so it has bubbles in it because it's like the resin has come loose from the crystals, but this side's probably closer to what they normally look like. Anyway, I feel like an orgone would really help this group transmute. So I think the keys to the orgone is have a crystal, have a metal, and an organic matter. So it doesn't have to look like this. You don't have to go buy something fancy. If you've got those materials around, you could probably just create your own at home. But an orgone might be particularly helpful for you to have like in a general living space that you come by often, or by your bedside table or something like that. Maybe somewhere where you can, like, if you can't carry it around, you can just like see it often. Orgones are meant to be really effective transmuters, so you shouldn't actually need to cleanse them from what I understand, but like, you know, if you feel you need to, you obviously follow your own intuition anyway, so that would be most helpful. Okay, is that everything? I'm saying one more card of a different deck, so I'm just going to okay. And I think that this group, you'll find that when this enmeshment is cleared up, whatever way you see fit or find works for you, when you're able to understand it and put some practical steps in. Oh, look, that's already up. Okay, cool. That's our card. It's receptivity. So allow yourself to receive and allow yourself to give. So for some of you, you might have a really hard time actually receiving. And look, this girl does actually look blocked off from the good things coming in as well. So maybe some of you have a hard time receiving. So it's kind of like the energy of being like, I don't know about this. Or like, you know, what's going to follow this? Or is it even going to help? Or kind of being stagnant or a bit negative about it, to being like, yes, thank you. I would really like that. Anyway, I just, too much at once. Anyway, maybe when you like find these practical steps you can put in place and actually apply, and you're able to find a way to better work with the enmeshment, then it will probably be really helpful for you. And yeah, I think you'll find that your emotions and your thoughts and how much transmuting you're having to do will actually clear up a bit, quite a bit on its own. And look, I do, okay, no, we're not dying there. Okay, cool. No. All right, so the only other thing that I could mention to this group so far is that I feel like the number 3 is important. I did get that message for group 1 as well, but also there is 3, so maybe group 3 would be helpful. So I feel like, you know, group 2, if you already felt drawn to either of those groups, or it's something that you feel, yeah, I guess if you feel guided to, then that might be something you choose to do as well. Thank you all for joining me here today. Hopefully this is helpful in some way. I think Spirit said kudos. You're doing really well at what you're doing. You know, it's, yeah, hopefully some practical advice that would be helpful. And if nothing else, maybe a little bit of validation in what you're experiencing, because I don't think a lot of people see it. I don't think, this is the hard thing about being a person that like sees a lot, is that not everybody else sees a lot, and it can kind of have an isolating quality, or, you know, we can give people more credit than they're due, thinking that they can see as much as we can, and it's actually not the case. So take care, group 2, and I'll see you all in another reading. Hey, welcome group 3. If you chose the Citrine, then this will be your reading on what the next 3 months will look like, maybe what you experienced during this time. Hoping everybody's doing well and taking care of themselves. Some of you, the people in this group may be drawn to group 2, but I would say only check it out if you're already drawn to it and it's kind of like a confirmation for you. There we go. All right, so I was just hearing like Queen of Cups, Page of Cups, Queen of Cups, Page of Cups. And in this deck, this is actually the Page of Cups. So I don't know if there's confusion about where you're at in life at the moment, or if it's like that transitional period is happening. Seems like nothing is really certain or set in stone. There's like a lot of fluidity. Things are probably like ever changing at this point in time. For some of you, it might seem relatively stable, like it appears stable, and like it comes and goes as expected and it's predictable. But the reality is that it's ever changing and fluid, regardless of seemingly consistent in that moment, or you know, it's like the tide coming in and going out. Like it's forever coming in and going out, but it's forever coming in and going out. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. All right, so it's like, for some of you, maybe like switching between the two. So it's like maybe you naturally live in a Queen of Cups and something's happened and it kind of knocks you back into like a Page of Cups. And then for others of you, you're naturally at this point in time a Page of Cups, but like something's happening and you have moments where you're stepping into your Queen of Cups and you just not like that transition's not quite over. You're just going between the two. It's, yeah, transitional. So definitely could be like grief or disappointment here, or just like things didn't work out the way that we wanted it to. But I feel like you're taking charge of the situation in whatever way you can, and you're deciding that you don't want to do this anymore, and you're not going to invest in it because it's not actually being I don't want to say it's not being helpful, because I don't think that this group necessarily expects to get something out of the situation, but I just feel like there's a lot of like emotional investment, or there's something here that it's just not, we thought it would be fulfilling, or we hoped it would be, and it's not being fulfilling. Maybe like, you know, the capacity wasn't there or something for like a supportive, nurturing friendship or environment. I don't really know. Whatever that looks like to you, it's like you're deciding to pull back from this, or you're taking out the trash, and there'll be a bit of like a grieving rebirth type. I literally was like reading it as like a rebirth ceremony or a death ceremony or something like that. For some of you, it's like, I think it's like the Ulysses or like the death moth or something like that might be significant for you in terms of like symbology, or I don't really know a lot about them. Death moth? No, maybe not death moth. There's a moon moth. Maybe all three. Maybe just like butterflies and moths in general, but just like I'm seeing like an array of them in my mind. But definitely the Ulysses that have like the longer tails at the bottom of the wings seem to be important as well. There might be something specific about their transformative process or about their life cycle. Do you know, I have my laptop. I might actually just do a little search. I don't know. I don't really want to get too distracted or take away from the reading, but if there's something there that's significant, it might be helpful to us. So let's go. Where is, let's say Ulysses butterfly. Here we go. Ulysses butterfly life cycle. I know, this is really weird. No, this might be something that like takes a bit of time to actually look into. I'm not really getting anything specifically helpful coming up. Wing significance. Let's go. I don't know, it might be something that this group knows. Although it does say there's like the colors can be a warning to predators that it could be toxic. So transformative. We already know about that. That's not really helpful. Okay. Just like a symbol of beauty, freedom, and transformation. Alright, we're going to put that away. If it's something that you know about, that's great. If I find something extra on it after the reading, I'll go through and add it into the timestamps in the description box, like underneath the timestamp. But yeah, I'd say at this point it's probably more just like symbolic. Okay, so moving on. I feel like there's like some ancestors or spirits that are hanging around in the background that are watching this transformative process, and they're there with you every step of the way. Some of you might actually particularly feel them. For some of you, you may feel a warmth. The warmth could be like a temperature thing, but it actually could be like a warmth in your heart or something when they're around. It's hard to say. And I feel like there's an essence of them watching you walk into the fire and coming out like the Phoenix version. So, and that they want to warn you to be careful that when you do walk alone, like, you know, you're pulling back from something and you're not investing in it. So there might be a period of time where you're on your own. Actually, you might not be on your own. You might just feel stuck. They just kind of want to warn you to not stay there too long. Maybe don't let whatever has happened weigh you down too much or weigh too heavy.
kind of get a sense of like keep moving. Do what you can to free yourself. But I don't know, this person looks really sad, like they're ruminating, but they're reminiscing or something. And I don't know, like we all have a time to process. I think they're saying like process, but just don't stay there too long, or don't lose yourself to the process or something like that. And that at the end of it, you'll be pretty wise for it. I actually want to read from the book on this particular king. This is a King of Wands. But I think there's something here. Let's see if I can... I don't think this group will even have the slightest clue in the the type or level of transformation that this would bring about. I think maybe for some of you, you've been giving your emotions so much weight, and now it's kind of like time to focus on like passions or creative prospects or some inspirations or something like that. Maybe like use your emotions to like fuel the fire. I don't know. I'm going to read from the book and we'll see what we get come up and see if anything else comes out. Where we go? I feel like, you know, that last message is just maybe not for everyone in the group, but for certain people, but yeah. Some of you may have a hard time being particularly like clear when with all this stuff going on. Okay. Like I almost feel foggy while I'm trying to do this. Okay, so the suit of wands and its corresponding element fire is passionate and dedicated to the task at hand. So an older man with grey hair represents this elder. He wears a long orange robe and ornate ritual stole and 3 necklaces. He holds a large ritual wand and a green leather-bound book of shadows. Nearby are a ritual fire and a large basket containing an impressive variety of flowers and herbs. This elder can be someone of great will, determination, and drive, and he has amazing talent for knowing the right thing to do in many situations and can lead with great charm and charisma. If he is not careful, he can become bossy or intolerant of others' ideas. I think it's kind of a message to like use your nous or your initiative or like improv, getting really good at improvising with whatever situation is at hand, and I feel like this process is helping you get there. I'm not really sure why, but like Spirit kind of wanted the cards turned on the side as like a visual representation of going through the situation. They're saying it's not yet unfolded, but basically that's, I feel like, how it would kind of play out, or maybe gives you some direction. And I feel like maybe at this point you're just giving your emotions a lot of weight, and then you will actually gain some type of direction through this process. It might actually give you a sense of purpose or like something to follow to really like, you know, it's like giving a dog a bone. Like you probably won't stop working for a while afterwards, or working on whatever the thing is. Maybe that like, yeah, some sort of hobby takes over your life, or you know, you have a change of career or something like that. Okay, anyway, so do we want to take another card? No. All right. The only other thing I can think of is that kunzite could be like really good for this group. It's like a really nice piece. It kind of looks like lepidolite, but it's a little bit different. It can be pinky as well. Can almost like be a mix, like confused for like lepidolite or rose quartz. So this is actually also kunzite as well. It's just like a much paler color. They're saying it can help with like transformative process and emotional well-being and clearing up the third eye. So yeah, helping with that direction as well. It's kind of funny. Anyway, okay, so anything else? No.
Okay, good. All right, group 3. Hopefully this was like helpful to you in some way. Anything else? They're just saying take care and keep your wits about yourself. And I think you'll all be fine. You'll all come out on top anyway. So good luck with it. I'll see you all in another reading.